Alright guys, we got this Every JoJo Bizarre Adventure stand explained. So, I'm not very familiar with all the stands, but
when it comes to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the
yeah, let's check
first
this one
thing
out.
people think of has to be opposing, and in a distant second comes stands, psychic extensions of JoJo's characters' fighting spirit. Stands come in a wild variety of forms, powers, and styles. They can
Okay,
stop time,
yeah.
create life, or be a cell phone tower.
What?
Weird, man.
Is that real, chat? Is one of the stands to become a
Real
cell
quick, I'll
phone
be
tower?
referencing stands from all
What?
of the seasons of anime, so if you're not caught up with part 5, you may encounter some spoilers. To keep it simple, stands are visible manifestations of individual life force caused by an alien meteor virus. Okay, yeah, that's a lot up front.
Oh,
so
I
let's
didn't
start
know that.
things easy with a little bit of history. So it all began 50,000
I actually didn't know the
years ago
story
when
of
an
it.
alien meteor crash landed in Greenland, as they do. Some say it intentionally landed on Earth, drawn by the
Virus.
strength of human will. Or maybe it was just an aimless piece of space junk. Either way, it carried an extremely deadly alien virus. Around the Middle Ages, a man craving absolute power like that of the gods gathered some of the meteor fragments and carved arrows from them. He had a lot of time on his hands.
Hey?
These arrows carried the virus, and almost everyone who came in contact with it died. For the few who survived, the virus unlocked a latent supernatural ability.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
In 1986, an archaeological research team in Egypt unearthed these ancient arrows. Unfortunately, Diablo was a member of that team. We have no idea what Diablo was doing on an archaeological dig, and if we did, we'd probably be dead.
Didn't they
I'm
just
not trying
die?
to mess with the future boss of Pashon. All right. We do know he stole the 6 arrows found, kept one, and sold the rest to Enya the Hag. Why is it in her name that she's the Hag? Like, from there, they scattered all over the world.
She the Hag.
Of the 6 known arrows, only one has a beetle symbol, the Requiem arrow.
Ooh.
Requiem? Requiem? I
Requiem.
never know how to say
Requiem?
that. Right.
Requiem.
Requiem. It's Requiem. If a stand is pierced by this arrow, they'll evolve into their Requiem form for as long as the arrow remains part of them. Some people who get hold of arrows like Diablo and Polpo, or the Nijimura brothers, intentionally use them to unlock as many stand users as possible. Never mind that anyone struck with one who can't handle it will die horribly.
Okay, so if you can handle it, that's fine. Easy, right? You get powers. If you can't, you just die.
Isn't strong enough to manifest a stand on their own,
Jesus,
they'll still have a chance if they get healed before they bite it. That's how Koichi got his stand, Echoes, which was just like an egg.
Egg?
It had to be like hella disappointing. Josuke's
Bro, is
like
that
a
his
big
power
buff
to make
dude
eggs?
that like heals things and reverses like critical illness, and then this one's just like lunch.
By punching them?
Anyway. Oh, and the arrows work on any living creature, including cats, rats, apes, and aliens. They even seem slightly self-aware and seek out worthy users. The stand arrows can be used many times, though some, like the one that created Killer Queen, get absorbed in the process. Arrows can be broken, but if the symbol card on them remains intact, they can still awaken stands. I know none of this, actually. This is actually really interesting. Stands can even pass down through bloodlines. None of the Joestar family were directly hit by arrows, but when Dio used one on the body he stole from Jonathan Joestar, the entire then-living family stands were unlocked. Joseph and Jotaro were strong enough to gain their stands, but Josuke and Holly Kujo both fell ill. Of course, once Josuke recovered, he earned himself Crazy Diamond, or Shining Diamond if you don't want to be sued. But getting a stand isn't always a life or death gamble with the stand arrow. Jean-Pierre Polnareff, Muhammad Abdal, Noriaki Kakuin, and little Shizuka Joestar, no relation, were all born with stands. And perfectionist chef Tonio Trussardi brought out his cooking-based stand Pearl Jam later in life.
The way he says stand is like Stan. He doesn't pronounce the D.
Through sheer passion for his craft. As iconic as they are, stands didn't even show up in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure until part 3. The first 2 parts are just a classic story about vampirism, pillar men, and the ancient art of Hamon, aka Ripple. Actually, the original kanji for stands, stando, literally means ghostly ripple, probably named after the same ripple energy. On the other hand, Joseph Joestar said stands are called stands because they literally stand next to their user. Not the most creative, but I got you, dog.
Makes sense.
Early Stardust Crusader
basic explanation.
The Rider-Waite Smith tarot deck's major arcana cards. You know, Star, Platinum, Hermit, Purple, you get it? After that, Araki switched to the Egyptian gods like Horus, Osiris, and Anubis. But then Araki really hit his stride when he started naming stands after bands, albums, songs, and magicians. I mean, JoJo's was already a playground of pop culture references. Shouts to my boy, Mr. Robert E.O. Speedwagon. Best name and best girl. Shout out to American litigation though. Naming stands like this was just the logical
I don't get that one,
step
chat.
forward.
I don't
Unfortunately, due to
understand.
copyright issues outside of Japan, some of the original names had to be changed when they hit the West.
Oh,
the
man.
subtitles, at least. Steely Dan became Dan of Steel, which sounds questionable. Bad Company became Worst Company, which was a worse name. Spice Girl transformed into Spicy Lady, which definitely sounds like the store brand version of the stand. And the Grateful
Spicy
Dead
Lady.
became the Thankful Death. Because they're manifestations of their user's psyche, most stands don't have much of a personality of their own.
That's
if a stand has a
interesting.
mouth, users can talk and react through them. Take Katoshi's Red Hot Chili Pepper, for example. There's also Fugami's Highway Star and Manish Boy's Death 13. Most stands are invisible to non-stand users. The few stands average people can see are bound stands like Toth, a bizarrely drawn comic book that predicts the future, or Wheel of Fortune, a souped-up war car. Non-stand users can also see the effects stands leave behind, like this handsome arresting rock formation, or like these guys whose bodies just start falling apart. Though stands can affect the physical world, they can only take damage from other stands. So the only way to attack a stand is in stand-to-stand combat, or by attacking
stand
the
to
stand
stand.
user. Because they're linked to their user's life force, when a stand user is injured, their stand often suffers similar injuries, and vice versa. So it follows that stands can act independently to save their user. Like the time Star Platinum caught a bullet JoJo shot at his own head. Then there are some truly sentient stands like Spice Girl, who named herself and offers advice for a newbie user, Trish, which is kind of weird if you think about it. Just like any relationship, it takes time for stand users to really get to know all of their stand's abilities. You didn't discover Echo's 3 acts until it became absolutely necessary.
That is nasty. What is that?
And talk about a close call, especially when your power is an egg. Kira only unlocked Killer Queen's Bite the Dust after committing a particularly evil act, and Jotaro didn't discover Star Platinum's ability to stop time until his final fight with Dio, which was pretty convenient, not gonna lie. Training and practice can also improve a stand's power. It's sort of like any kind of endurance training. When Jotaro practiced time stop, he got up to 5 seconds at his peak, and slipped down to half a second after years of neglect. Which you'd think, why would you stop practicing that? You can stop time. Why would
That kind of makes sense.
Typically,
to be
it's a
honest.
one stand per user sort of situation. Though there are examples of users sharing a stand, like the 2 rats of Rat, that's with 2 T's, and a couple more notable examples that we can look forward to seeing in Stone Ocean and Steel Ball Run. There's also stands who swap users. Cheap Trick is a nasty little parasitic stand who attaches itself to a user's back and tries like hell to get another user to spot it there. If it's spotted, it drains the life of whoever it's currently attached to and jumps to its new host to repeat the cycle. Then there's the bound stand Anubis, which outlived its original master and can choose to possess anyone who unsheathes its sword. Once they do, Anubis can utterly control them. And if it possesses a stand user, Anubis also controls their stand. That's kind of
overpowered.
There's also the odd case of sub-stands, where stand has a component stand with it. The sub-stand's not quite a full stand on its own, meaning the user technically only has one stand. There's dynamic duos like Killer Queen and Bites the Dust. There's also Diablo combining King Crimson's Time Loop and Epitaph's predictive ability.
I'm sure they got sued for that.
Belongs to Doppio,
Bites the Dust.
Doppio's the best boy of all time and a submissive facet to Diablo's personality. Let's just say they both belong to Diablo. So we've seen a whole spectrum of wacky stands over the years, but for the most part, they all abide by a basic rule set. Distance seems to play a major role in defining how stands' abilities manifest. Close range stands have to remain near their users, you know, close range. They're usually fast, strong fighters preferring direct confrontation and moving precisely with immediate user commands. Star Platinum, Sticky Fingers, Silver Chariot, Heaven's Door, and Gold Experience are all close range stands. As such, they're weak against stands that can stay out of reach or hidden.
Can they like evolve
JoJo's, there
from
is
like
an exception
close
to
like long
Cream
range?
Is a close range stand with the ability to keep user Vanilla Ice hidden and out of reach. I get anxiety
Vanilla Ice
thinking about the Vanilla Ice fight. Like he just ate himself and like, I don't know. Long range or remote controlled stands have far greater reach.
RC?
In some cases, they're able to get miles away from their user. The drawback? These stands aren't a physical match for most close range stands. Reconnaissance type stands usually fall under this category because this ability lends itself to sneak attacks and spying. However, their users are left vulnerable while a stand's away doing recon. The Lovers, Hierophant Green, Sex Pistols, Clash, and Aerosmith are all examples. This stand may have range, but their powers might only work in close proximity. For example, Highway Star can chase a victim all over, but must actually touch them to drain energy. Automatic stands don't follow a user's command, but act automatically through preset instructions. They're usually separated from their user completely.
Now it's getting confusing, man.
Transferring its damage to its user, but in turn, the user has no way of knowing the condition of their stand when it's away from them. Two subtypes include far distance autopilot stands, who are extremely resilient and don't lose power, but can only follow limited or simple instructions, like Black Sabbath single-mindedly stabbing everyone nearby with an arrow. There's also posthumous stands like Notorious B.I.G. or Chariot Requiem that mindlessly follow a single drive after the user's
Notorious
death.
B.I.G.?
Other automatic stands include
Where are these names, man?
And Toff. Range irrelevant stands are just what they sound like. The range of these stands has little to do with how they work. Integrated stands like Oasis, Mr. President, or Earth, Wind, and Fire are part of their user's body and can't have any range. While for time-stopping or dimension-altering stands like Man in the Mirror or The World, Zawado, and King Crimson, when they're not fighting, range doesn't matter. And finally, a very select category of stand evolved. Evolution sometimes happens naturally, the stand morphing as its user grows stronger. Each set of abilities unlocked becomes
That's what I was asking.
Like Echo's Act 1, 2, and 3. Otherwise, an
this
arrow
is like a
can unlock
Pokemon.
the stand's potential. Killer Queen Gain bites the dust after its user was struck for a second time. But if the stand is struck, it can evolve temporarily to Requiem form. So far, only Chariot and Gold Experience have evolved this way, with Chariot turning into an automatic, totally visible stand whose horrifying abilities make it arguably the most dangerous stand in JoJo's history.
Holy man, that's
Requiem,
nasty.
on the other hand, became sentient, independent, and could nullify time manipulation with its user knowing. Kind of a good thing these powers are only temporary, huh? Also, how the f does King Crimson work, yo? I'm still like, it like erases time. Like, okay, like, what does that mean?
Okay, if this guy doesn't get it, and he's explaining it.
Stands come in a huge variety of shapes and sizes, but they can be loosely categorized under a few labels. First off, there's natural humanoid type stands. These stands are more common in earlier JoJo's runs, and they include human-looking Star Platinum, Empress, and Hangman, armor-heavy Crazy Diamond,
normal-looking,
animal-leaning Anubis, Killer Queen,
that's gotta be a meme or something,
Dark Blue Moon, and Red Hot Chili Pepper.
Plays the music.
Cross between hard-headed Dino, Cephalosaurus, and a Kappa, a Japanese mythological turtle-like creature. The category also stretches enough to include King Crimson, despite being completely cloaked in Chariot Requiem, Gold Experience Requiem, but not Gold Experience, and all 6 of the Sex Pistols, despite the fact they're supposed to be bullets made of metal. These stands come close to crossing over into the next category, artificial humanoids. The main difference between these and natural types is, well, like they're artificial. Though they have bipedal humanoid forms, these stands appear mechanical or artificial with plastic, wood, or metal skin, and robotic or doll-like parts. It's like the difference between an android or a mannequin versus a human. They have all the same benefits as natural humanoid stand, though they tend to lack expressions and mouths. They include Silver Chariot, who even with its armor off remains metallic, Hierophant Green, Kraftwerk, Green Day, Cinderella,
they seem kind of strong,
Judgment,
man.
Vinyl Moody Blues, Literal Wooden Mannequin Surface, Creepy Harlequin Death 13, Ebony Devil, and Carnival Clockwork Black Sabbath. Natural non-humanoid. Stands that cover the full range of nature that doesn't resemble humanity, meaning these stands have little in common. Some have claws, some are straight up weather. Hermit Purple, Stray Cat, a user stand hybrid, and Pearl Jam are plants, but Hermit Purple looks and acts like a vine, while Stray Cat and Pearl Jam are anthropomorphic. Harvest, Survivor, and Tower of Grey are smaller insect forms. Sun is a literal sun, while Geb, Taurus, and Aquanequus are all water forms. Artificial, non-humanoid. Stands include a subcategory we've mentioned a couple times already. Bound or materialized stands. They're a subset visible to regular people as well as stand users, often mistaken for the real object they resemble. In addition to Toth and Wheel of Fortune, there's also electric outlet Bast. The Lock, which, take a guess what that is. The Giant Freighter, both strength and electrical power Superfly. A stand like Love Deluxe, bound to its user's hair, could also fall under this category. Phenomenon stands are kind of a catch-all category. It includes stands with appearances so weird that they can't be quantified, like Notorious B.I.G. or Talking Head. They're pure ability stands without physical appearance, like Coom, Earth, Wind, and Fire, or Octon Baby, which allows their user to alter
these
their
names,
appearance.
man.
Sekko's Oasis appears as a full bodysuit and allows its user to liquefy the ground. There's also supernatural phenomena,
I love the
like Tenor
references.
Sax's illusions luring people in, or Adam Hart allowing Yoshihiro to slip between photographs. There's a final category that can manifest in any of the forms we just described, colony stands. Power is split
man.
between multiple units.
Nasty.
This makes individual parts weaker, but there's opportunity for swarm attacks. And there's the added bonus that their user remains safe as long as one unit remains alive. Colonies include Bad Company's Squadron of Soldiers, Pearl Jam, Metallica's
So as long as one
Worm,
is
and Harvest
alive,
Bees.
it's okay.
Were they bees? Were they bees that look like little stink bugs? I don't know. They were weird. Those were weird. It goes without saying that these categories are far from perfect. Take Heaven's Door, which was originally an ability manifesting as book pages, but then becoming a floating Monopoly man. JoJo. And congratulations, you've officially earned a master's degree in standology. And I'm glad to be totally
Damn, they're actually more complicated than I thought what they are. You know, chat?
Again, the robot, your anime.
It's like, what? Some of these are so weird. That's kind of cool to watch, though. Explain a bit. Thank you for watching this video, and also thank you very much to all of my supporters over at Patreon. If you'd like to see these videos earlier, head on to Patreon. And if you want to see more videos, click the videos here for more videos from me.